Ever sit down to knit a pair of socks and wonder, should I be knitting these cuff down or toe up? Or maybe you've been team cuff down forever like me, but you keep hearing all the buzz about toe up socks and wonder what's all the fuss about. Well, today we're going deep into sock construction for you, breaking down cuff down versus toe up once and for all so you can pick the best method for your next sock. By the end of this episode, you'll be confidently casting on with the construction style that suits you best. Let's dig in. Today's topic is one that I get asked about all the time. You know, in the Southern Stitch Box, we normally have a sock pattern in there at least every couple of months, if not every month. So whether people are asking me in DMs, yarn shows, emails, it's the great sock construction debate. Cuff down versus toe up. Which one's better? Spoiler alert, there's no wrong answer. But there are definitely reasons to choose one over the other depending on your project, your yarn, and your mood. We'll break down the pros and cons and the best use case scenarios for each construction style. Plus, I'll share some personal experiences, wins, and disasters with both methods. So, what is top-down sock construction or cuff down? It's what I like to call the OG of sock knitting, the classic cuff down sock. You cast on the cuff, you knit the leg, you turn the heel, you work the foot, and you finish with the toe. Easy peasy. This is often how many of us learn to knit socks, and it's still incredibly popular. It's how I do all my socks. So why is it my favorite? Heel flap and gusset methods are super well documented. But if you're like me and you prefer short rows, even better. The cuff down is familiar and predictable. You can always find a tutorial out on YouTube. And you can easily customize the leg length within reason. There are tons of patterns and pattern supports and tutorials out there just waiting for you to check out. Heel flaps offer extra reinforcement, great for long-lasting socks. Not a lot of fun to knit the gusset, but trade-offs, right? It's a simple cuff cast on, no tricky setups. Use your favorite cast on, knit a few rounds of ribbing, and you're off to the races. Now, downside. You need to plan your yarn usage very carefully. You don't want to run out before finishing the foot. If you decide to knit a pair of knee-high socks, just remember you've got to knit a knee-high sock for your right foot and a knee-high sock for the left foot. It requires a Kitchener stitch to graft the toe closed, and yes, I know some of you hate that. I don't mind it. Honestly, I can do it. It's just not my favorite thing, and it's a little messy for me. Or, if you really want to, you can close it with a round or star closure. More on that later. It's also less flexible if you want to use every inch of yarn. So, you want to hear about Jenna's cuff down sock story? So, last episode I was telling everybody about the first sock that I knit. It was top down. It's still my favorite way to do socks. I felt like an absolute genius turning the heel after ripping it out twice, of course. But let me tell you, when I ran out of yarn halfway through the foot, I learned really quick that yardage planning is everything with this method. Pro tip for me, always buy an extra skein if you're nervous, or knit a contrasting toe, heel, or cuff for a fun color pop and yarn insurance. There's a reason to do that. That's one of the reasons our sock sets always come with a mini. Adding a little bit of a color pop, also giving you a little extra there in case you get to the toe and you run out. Now, Let's talk about the sock construction that's shaken things up in the knitting world in recent years. The toe-up sock. You start with the toe. A clever, surprisingly easy cast on once you know how to do it. You knit the foot. You shape the heel. Hello, my lovely short rows. And you work your way up the leg to finish at the cuff. Simple. Why is it perfect and amazing? You can try on the sock as soon as the toe's done. Yeah, it is so helpful. Max out your yarn with no more stressful yarn chicken at the end. Skip the dreaded Kitchener because you've already knit your toe. Most toe-up socks don't require grafting. So it's awesome for gradient or variegated yarn, so you can show off every inch of the yarn. It's very customizable in length. No waste. Knit until you're out of yarn, then bind off. Just don't forget that you have to knit a second sock. Like, I forgot. In my defense, it was years ago. I mean, like years ago that I did this. But yeah, don't forget that you need yarn to knit the second sock. Good pointer. Now the downside. Toe cast-ons, like a Judy's Magic cast-on, can be tricky at first. Practice it, you'll learn it. The cuff bind-off must be stretchy. Let me say that again. The cuff bind-off must be stretchy or you'll never get it on your leg. Okay? Just stretchy. Some heel styles, like traditional flap and gussets, are hard to execute toe up. Yes! Short rows! And when I say harder, I mean don't. Just don't. Just don't. Go to the short rows. That's what you need to do. Skip the heel flap and gusset and go straight to a short row heel. That's why I love them. They're easy to modify. So when I knit my first toe-up sock, I was obsessed with being able to try it on right from the start. I have a very short foot and a very narrow heel. And so I like the idea of being able to try it on right away and get just the exact perfect fit. And using every inch of one of my gorgeous yarn skeins didn't exactly hurt either. Just again, so you don't fall into my trap, reserve yarn for the second sock. Okay? It's a game changer. But full honesty, the first time I did a stretchy bind off, I underestimated how much stretch I needed, and yep, my sock cuff was too tight. Learned my lesson there. So now Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off is my go-to. Want some great advanced tips or tricks to improve your sock construction game? For cuff down, try an Eye of Partridge or slip stitch heel. It's great for extra durability, and if you don't like gussets, try the short row heel. I love it. I swear by it. If you hate Kitchener stitch, try a round toe or a star toe instead. You'll be in a much better situation. For toe up, Judy's Magic Cast On is worth practicing. Really, it is worth practicing. Don't forget to measure your foot multiple times as you knit, especially before the heel. Check out our slap bracelet sock rulers for the perfect sock measuring helper. Bind off. Always test your cuff stretch. No tight socks allowed. So here are some of the most common questions that I receive from y'all. Which method is best for beginner sock knitters? It's a great question. I usually suggest starting with a top-down vanilla sock. If you want tons of patterns and tutorials, they're out there on the web. But if you're adventurous and okay learning a tricky cast on, toe up is really super satisfying. Just don't take a cuff down pattern and knit it toe up without checking if the direction of the pattern rows or such needs to change. Hello, color work. If you're going to be looking at your color work from a totally different position. Okay? Can you knit both socks at once, toe up and toe down? Well, that's a fun idea, but what you can do is an afterthought everything sock. Basically, you start with a cuff, you knit a giant tube, and you end with a cuff. And then where you would place your heel and your toes and your heel, you mark them with lifelines. So heel lifeline, toe lifeline. You don't do any toe decreases. Knit 2 to 4 rows. So that's where your socks would separate and your afterthought everything. Drop another lifeline because that'll be your toes that you use live stitches for later. You knit, lifeline heel, all the way up to your cuff, do your ribbing, and you just got your big tube there marked off with your lifeline. So you can go in and grab the live stitches. Then you do have to cut into your project, grab your live stitches, and then do some short row shaping with your toes and your heels. Pretty easy. It's a great way if you have to take a project on the road, or you're maybe going to a kids event and you want to have something in your bag, but you don't want to have to fuss with toes and heels while you're there. Fuss with toes and heels later. Do it all at once later. Easy peasy. You'll have your 2 socks done and you won't have any second sock syndrome. Now that's a good idea. Are you feeling overloaded? Don't worry. I've got you covered. Download my free sock construction sheet to get all the pros, cons, and quick reference tips in one handy printable. Check out the link below to grab my free cheat sheet. Okay, wow. That was a lot. Sock knitting is pure magic, and knowing your construction options makes it even better. Whether you're a cuffed down devotee like me, a toe-up fan, or a happy flip-flopper, the beauty of knitting is making it your own. Do what makes you happy. Tell me your fave. Are you team cuff down, team toe up, or are you thinking of trying something new? Drop a comment on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'd love to hear your sock knitting stories. Until next time, keep knitting, keep learning, and keep creating with joy.